Hello? Okay, sorry for the clicking noise. I had to unmute my mic. Okay, so if you can't tell by the title, today we are doing some logic puzzles, logic games kind of thing. Specifically on the Puzzle Baron website, which is like my new obsession for some reason. So here we go. Yeah, so let's get into it. I'm going to kind of explain it as I do it, so that hopefully it'll make sense to you guys. And then once I've kind of explained, because there are different versions and it's just kind of random, like they just pop up different difficulties, different, all that kind of stuff. So I will just explain each different version for the first like 5 to 10 puzzles, and then I'll just kind of keep going. If you have any questions while you're watching about, anything that I'm doing in the puzzles, or like anything that I don't explain very well, please let me know and I will cover it again. But yeah, I'm super excited. So let's get into it. Okay. So there are 11 guilty people in total, which means 11 out of these 25 are going to be marked as guilty. Megan shares one guilty neighbor with Dominic. So Megan is here and Dominic is here, and the only shared neighbor that they have is going to be Ivy. So we're going to mark her as innocent or as guilty because we know she can, she's the only one between them that can be guilty, because this Harper and Nora are only Megan's neighbors, and Cora and Julia are only Dominic's neighbors. So Ivy is the only one that they both share. Sorry. Of Julia, Parker, Rosalind, and Tatum, 3 of them are going to be guilty, but we don't have enough just yet to kind of, do anything with that. So we're going to move on for now. And I'm only marking these off once I've marked off every single person within that clue, if that makes sense. So like with these 3, if I mark, if from another clue I mark off one of these people as innocent, I'm not going to mark this off just yet because I don't have, or if I mark her as guilty, then I'm not going to mark this off just yet because there are 2 more out of this group that are still guilty. And if I mark it off, I will look over it. So, but yeah, so Bo has one guilty neighbor, which is Ivy, actually. So we're going to mark the rest of his neighbors as innocent and then mark that off. Sorry, there's something in my throat. Okay. There are 4 guilty people along the edge of the grid, which is this outer row here, obviously. And obviously we don't have a lot to go on there because we don't even have one person on the edge just yet. So we're going to leave that for now. There is exactly 1 guilty person to the right of Genevieve, which is also Ivy. So we're just going to mark all of those off and mark that. There are more guilty people in row 1. Whoa. There are more guilty people than innocent in row 1. And since there are only 5 of them and 2 are already marked innocent, these 3 have to be guilty because 3 is more than 2, math. So now we have 3 out of our 4 guilty people along the edge. And then of Julia, Parker, Rosalind, and Tatum, 3 are guilty. And Julia has already been marked innocent from Genevieve's row here. So then the other 3, Parker, Rosalind, and Tatum, have to be guilty. So we're going to mark that off. And we are currently at 7 out of the 11 total guilty people. But we do have the 4 guilty people around the edge. So we're just going to mark everybody else around the edge innocent. And then 7 plus 4 is 11. So there we go. That was a pretty simple one to start off with. That was nice. Oh my gosh, I'm not logged in. Oh, hold on. I need to get these points. One moment. Okay. It's literally like 2 buttons, but sensitive information. Okay, there we go. Okay. Yeah, because there is currently a competition going on. I literally don't know how to find the scores for it, but I guess I'm in it because I've been playing this for the past like 3-4 days like nonstop. So I have been racking up some points. Actually, I think we can see them here. Oh my gosh. Average points per game, 144. Average time per game is 3 minutes and 7 seconds. Seems like a long time, but, well, I get distracted. I've played 116 games and I've solved 99 of them. Because I tried a lot of games. I think the 99 out of 116, because with these conspiracy puzzles, you can't move on until you solve that one. Like, even if you refresh the page, it's just the same puzzle over and over. So I think the 99 games solved doesn't include ones where I used hints because I got so majorly stuck. But I have a total of 14,294 points. So not bad. Moving on. You probably don't care. We are so back, Mary. Welcome back. Sorry, I did not mean to take a little hiatus there. But yeah, and I'll be going live again after this stream today, like in the afternoon with Papa's Freezeria once again. So I am super excited. I've been wanting to get back into streaming really, really bad. And then once I found this website, I have just needed to go live. So I know it's, 11 in the morning and probably not a lot of people are going to watch, but that is okay because I'm having an amazing time. So, but I'm so glad you are here. Welcome back. Okay, so in this puzzle, there are 13 guilty people in total. Gwendolyn, where the heck? There she is. Shares 2 guilty neighbors with Natasha. So these two, Hector and Marie, are the only 2 neighbors that they share. So we're going to mark that off. There are a total of 2 guilty people in columns 2 and 3 combined. So since we have these 2 in columns 2 and 3, we only have those 2 guilty. Let's see, Colin, Hector, Lewis, and Virginia, 2 of them are guilty. So then Colin and Hector are already marked off as 1 innocent, 1 guilty. So then either Lewis or Virginia is going to be the other guilty there. But since we, can't really tell at this moment, we're just going to kind of leave that for now. There are 3 guilty people in Fabian's line of sight, and line of sight refers to all other people in that suspect's row and column. Diagonals do not count, and a suspect is never in his or her own sight or line of sight. So, if there are 3 people in Fabian's line of sight here, Hector is going to be one of them because he's in the same row, and then out of this column, one of them is probably going to be Lewis or Virginia, and then the other one could be Audrey, Quinn, Jake, or Kaylee. So, but yeah, line of sight is only within their column and row. It does not include them, and it does not go diagonally. So Marie doesn't count. Cool? Okay. There are 4 guilty people in row 3, and since we already have Natasha marked as innocent, we're going to mark these 3 as guilty, which means we can mark that off, and it also means that Lewis isn't second guilty out of this group, so Virginia is innocent. And then there are 2 in Fabian's line of sight. Let me know if I need to slow down or if you're not understanding. I'm trying my best. Of the 4 people in corner locations, 1 of them is innocent, and that is Virginia. So then Audrey, Amelia, and Zayden are all guilty, so we can mark that off. And now there are 3 guilty people in Fabian's line of sight. So there we go. But we only have 8 out of the 13 guilty people we need. So 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And there we go. This is pretty fun, right? I figured this would be, some easy to kind of ease us back in. Lorelai shares 1 guilty neighbor with Bonnie, and Gianni is the only one they share. There are a total of 4 guilty people in columns 4 and 5 combined. Also, if you want to play these and whatever, please be mindful and smarter than I am sometimes, because I will read this kind of question and be like, oh, row 4 and row 5. So then I'll focus all my energy down here trying to figure out, which 4 people, and then I'll have 6 people guilty, and I'm like, that doesn't make sense. And then I reread it again, and it's columns 4 and 5. So then I have to restart the whole puzzle. And it's so sad when that happens. But anyway, there is 1 guilty person in Isabella's line of sight, and Isabella is right here, and Gianni is in her line of sight. so that is true, and then we're going to mark off everybody else in her line of sight. So if my explanation before was confusing, everybody that's marked off right now is in Isabella's line of sight, but she is not, because you can't see yourself unless you're looking in a mirror, which makes sense. There are 3 guilty people in row 3. And we still have 4 unlocked right now, so we're just going to leave that for a second. Gianni has 1 guilty neighbor, which out of these 5 can't be Hattie, but it could be any of these 4. So we're just going to leave that for now. A guilty neighbor does not apply to themselves. It can trick your eyes sometimes, but it does not apply to themselves. There are 7 guilty people around the edge of the grid. We have 1 marked already, but we still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 unlocked. So, there are exactly 3 guilty people below Fiona, and since Kylo was already marked off, it's going to be Peter, Uriel, and Xander, and then we can mark that off. And anything like this, unless it specifically says in another thing that someone is guilty, if they see someone that's guilty or they're near someone that's guilty or whatever, it usually applies to them, but don't assume, because things will change. And it gets confusing if you just kind of assume and then you're like, where did I go wrong? And then you have to start over and it's really annoying. There are more guilty people in column 3 than in column 2. So column 3 than in column 2. So then 1 guilty person in column 3 and none in 2, I assume. And this one doesn't have like there are this many total people. So it's kind of frustrating and difficult, but it's okay. There are a total of 4 guilty people in columns 4 and 5 combined, and there are 3 guilty people in row 3. So then it'll be Olive and Lorelai, and then that makes 4 in columns 4 and 5, so we'll mark them off. Gianni has 1 guilty neighbor. Yes, he does, because Lorelai is now guilty. Then Bonnie is innocent. There are 7 guilty people on the edge of the grid. We have 5 already, so then 6 and 7, and that brings us to 9 total, and there we go. Let me know if I'm talking too fast. I'm trying to get these points, man. I'm also, hyped up. I started a new ADHD med lately, and, I've been going ballistic. In a good way. In the best way. I feel great. So, let's see. Carlos shares 1 guilty neighbor with Giselle. Okay, so it is either Bethany or Hattie, but we don't know which one just yet, so we're going to leave that for now. Also, let me know if the music in the background is too much, because I know I'm talking, a lot, but, I never really play music in my streams or videos before now, so just let me know. Also, let me know if it's too quiet, if you want to hear it louder, if it's too loud, whatever. There are a total of 7 guilty people in rows 3 and 4. Noted. Of Finnegan, Giselle, Hattie, and Olivia, 2 of them are guilty. Okay. There are 2 guilty people in row 4. And then there are 7 guilty people in rows 3 and 4 combined. So if there are 2 guilty people in row 4, then all 5 people in row 3 have to be guilty. I'm not going to mark either of these off, though, because we still need the 2 in the row 4. But that does mean that Olivia, is guilty. So then we just need to figure out which one of these 3 is guilty, and then we can mark off this one. There are 5 guilty people on the edge of the grid. We have 2 right now. There are exactly 2 guilty people between Ellie and Zendaya. So then we need 1 more of these 3. If it says between, it's just talking about the 3 between them. It is not referring to Ellie or Zendaya. There is exactly 1 guilty person below Carlos. So then Hattie, Roy, and Xavier are all innocent. There are more guilty people in column 3 than column 4. So we already have 1 in column 4. So then there will be 2 guilty in column 1 or 3, and then 1 guilty in column 4. Oh, and I need to mark that off. Oops. Okay, so Carlos shares 1 guilty neighbor with Giselle, and Hattie is innocent, so then it has to be Bethany. Then we can mark that off. There are a total of 7 guilty people in rows 3 and 4 combined. We still have 3 unknowns in row 4, so we can't do anything about that one just yet, or this 2 guilty people in row 4. Of Finnegan, Giselle, Hattie, and Olivia, 2 of them are guilty. We know Olivia is guilty, and Hattie has now been marked as innocent. So then it's either Finnegan or Giselle, but we still can't mark any of them because we don't know just yet. There are 5 guilty people on the edge of the grid. We have 4 so far. There are exactly 2 guilty people between Ellie and Zendaya. We still haven't done anything there just yet. But since we've kind of gone through here and haven't really done much, the last time that we read through the clues, then I'm just gonna say that Uriel is probably one of them and mark off Jessica, because then that puts the 2 guilty people between Ellie and Zendaya. And then it means we have 1 out of our 2 guilty in row 4, and now we have 6 out of 7 for rows 3 and 4 combined, if that makes sense. Of Finnegan, Giselle, Hattie, and Olivia, 2 are guilty. So I think this is kind of going to become like a little bit of a guessing game now. But we do have, we have our 5 around the edge of the grid. So we're going to mark all of these guys as innocent, which means Giselle is our guilty one from that group, actually. And then Kiana is the only one in group 4 that can still be guilty. So there we go. Okay. 9 guilty people in total. Irene, there she is, shares 2 guilty neighbors with Luke. So these 2 are their only shared neighbors. There's a total of 1 guilty person in rows 1 and 3 combined. So then Miles makes it so that there is nobody else guilty in rows 1 or 3. There are 6 guilty people in Irene's line of sight. Right now she has 1, but then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we can mark that off. There's 1 guilty person in column 5. This is an easy one. There are 5 guilty people on the edge of the grid. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So no. And then there's 1 guilty person between Valentino and Xander, which is Yvette. So then 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 around the edge. And that one's done. And we have our 9. And these 3 are still marked as unknown. But since they are innocent because of, all of the clues and everything, you don't have to mark them as innocent before you hit submit. Only the guilty have to be marked. But, marking the innocence definitely helps you to, figure it out. If you want to challenge yourself, you can do it without marking the innocence. Let's see how that goes. Hold on. There are 13 guilty people in total. Titus shares 3 guilty neighbors with Roman here. So then all 3 of these are guilty. Of Laurel, Roman, Uriel, and Yancey, strange names, there are 2 guilty. There's 1 guilty person in Uriel's line of sight. Oops. Sorry, we're not marking innocence. This is going to throw me off. Okay. Not marking innocence, but there is 1 guilty person in Uriel's line of sight. Kira has 3 guilty neighbors. Kira, there she is. But since there's someone in Uriel's line of sight already, these would be marked as innocent. So then we're going to mark these 3 as guilty because they're her neighbors out of, whatever. You get it. There are 6 guilty people on the edge of the grid, 1 and 2 so far. There are more guilty people in column 1 than in column 4. So since we have 3 in column 4 already, and we know Roman is innocent because he's in Uriel's line of sight, and there can only be 1 there, then these 4 are going to be marked as guilty in column 2. Of Laurel, Roman, Uriel, and Yancey, 2 of them are guilty. And Roman can't be because he's in Uriel's line of sight and he can only have 1 in his line of sight, and it's Sophie already. There are 6 guilty people on the edge of the grid. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we only need 2 more on the edge of the grid, but we still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 that are available. Yeah, I mean, this is definitely a lot more difficult without marking the innocents. Okay, we only need 3 more, and it would be the other 3, or 2 of them on the edge, and then 1 not in the thing. Okay, so Yancy. Oh my gosh. Okay. So Zendaya, Parker, Kira, Evelyn, Titus, Roman, and Kiana are all innocent. They cannot be marked. And then column 4, it can't be Yancey. So then it would have to be Vivian, Laurel, Franklin, Aiden, and or Caleb. Like, we'll have to find out there. Let's see. So then if it can't be Yancey and it can't be Roman, then it has to be Laurel and Uriel, which puts us at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on the edge. And then Irene would be our last one. Oh my gosh, that was tough. I will be right back. Actually, give me 1 second. Sorry. Oh God. I almost fell off my chair. Okay. So sorry. Had to go get my charger. Dead. Okay. Anyway. There are a total of 4 guilty people in rows 4 and 5 combined. There we go. Okay. Of Heather and Jax, Hector and Jax, exactly 1 is guilty. Okay. There is 1 person in Frederick's line of sight, so it's either going to be Hector or Jax. So then we can mark these off. I'm marking the innocents again, by the way, because it hurt my brain way too much. There are 4 guilty people in row 1, so since it can't be Alan, it has to be these 4. Greta, there, has 2 guilty neighbors. So it's either Frederick and Linda, which doesn't affect Frederick's line of sight, or it's Hector, which means Jax is innocent, and then either Frederick or Linda. No. There are 7 guilty people on the edge of the grid, so we need 3 more. There are exactly 2 guilty people to the left of Zayden. We still have 3 unknown. Uriel has more innocent neighbors than guilty ones, which means he's going to have 3 guilty neighbors and 2 innocent ones. Nope. 3 innocents and 2 guilty. There are more guilty people in column 5 than in column 3. Right now they both have 1, so we can't do much with that. There are a total of 4 guilty people in rows 4 and 5 combined. So then does it say anything? It'll be Uriel's neighbors that make a big impact there, and the people around on the edge of the grid. Okay. Of Hector and Jax, exactly 1 is guilty. So I'm gonna kind of guess here and say that maybe it is Hector, and then Greta has 2 guilty neighbors, so we'll see about that, I guess. There are 7 on the edge of the grid. 2 guilty people to the left of Zayden. Uriel has more innocent neighbors than guilty ones. So, oh, also when it says like to the left of them or to the right of them or below them or anything, it's only talking about in their column or row. So if it says, you know, if they're to the left of Zayden, it's only out of these 4. If it's to the right of Valentina, it's only these 4. If it's below Elijah, it's only these 4. Above Zayden, only these 4. Cool. Okay. So 4 guilty people in rows 4 and 5 combined. So then 2 of Uriel's neighbors, his 2 guilty neighbors, are probably going to be somewhere in these 3. So, I mean, I think. I could be wrong, but I would assume. And then the other 2 would be these 4. Like whichever 2 out of these 3 are guilty. Does this make sense? I'm confusing myself. 7 guilty people are on the edge. We still have 4, and we have an extra 6 unlocked, so 2 guilty people to the left of Zayden. Yeah, that doesn't really help, does it? Yeah, I guess we're just gonna have to kind of guess. So I'm gonna say Frederick is guilty. So then that puts us at 5 around the edge. And then the 2 that we need left will be between Zayden. So then him and Uriel can't be guilty, because the only 2 that we need to finish off that 7 around the edge will be the 2 between, or like over here, to the left of Zayden. Okay, so he has more innocent than guilty neighbors. Perfect. And then more guilty people in column 5 than in column 3, which actually doesn't line up. What did I do wrong? Maybe it is Jackson Hector. Okay, or Jackson Pablo. Okay, let's say that. And then, no, because then we have our 7. So then it can't be Frederick, and it has to be Linda. 2, 4, 6. But then there could only be 1 here. So then Hector, and then one of these could be guilty. And then these 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. No, just these 2. Hello? I'm confusing myself. Okay, so he has 1 guilty neighbor already. And then we need to figure out which ones. Okay, no, but that doesn't make sense, because then there have to be 3 or 4 in this row. Or I can keep it as 2, but then I have to do something about this. Let me start over. Hold on. Okay. There are a total of 4 guilty people in rows 4 and 5 combined. Row. Yes? Row. Okay. Of Hector and Jax, one of them can be guilty. In Frederick, there is 1 guilty person in his line of sight, so then it has to be either Hector or Jax. 4 guilty people in row 1. Whoops. There you go. Greta has 2 guilty neighbors. Not assuming this time. There are 7 guilty people on the edge of the grid. Yeah, because then if her guilty neighbors are Hector and Linda, then Jax can be this guilty one. And if it's Hector is her guilty neighbor, then these 2. Huh? Moving on. Okay. There are 7 guilty people on the edge of the grid. There are exactly 2 guilty people to the left of Zayden. So one of these 3. It really doesn't say much more than that. I think we're gonna have to like really focus on the columns 3 and 5 to get this. Okay, so I'm gonna go out on a limb here. I'm gonna say Jax out of Hector and Jax, and then Jimena, because then that locks in column 3 with 2 guilty people, and then either Pablo or Zayden are one of, or both of, Uriel's guilty neighbors. But he needs 2 guilty neighbors. There have to be 2 to the left of Zayden. Okay. And then since Hector is innocent, Greta needs 2 guilty neighbors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh my gosh. Okay, so then it can't be Jax, and it has to be Hector, and Linda's innocent. Sorry, a bug just flew into my nose. Oh my gosh. Oh, it's the worst feeling. When a little gnat goes into your nostril. Like, how disrespectful. Okay. There's 1 guilty person in Frederick's line of sight. Got that. I don't know why I didn't mark it off. Total of 4 people in rows 4 and 5. Okay. 7 guilty people on the edge. We have 2, 4, 6 right now. So then the other person has to be one of these 2. 2 guilty people to the left of Zayden. Uriel has more innocent neighbors than guilty ones. Am I losing my mind? Hold on. Hold on. Because now there are 3 in column 3. Okay, I'm using a hint. I hate to do it, but I have to. Oh, great, thanks. No, yeah, that's, yeah, perfect. Thanks. The hell? Yeah, these have to be guilty. Thank you. Okay, let me, hold on. Okay, now use a hint. Natalia can only be innocent. Great, thanks. Okay. Can you give me something useful, please? Okay, wait. Greta has 2 guilty neighbors. Perfect. Okay, so then Jax is innocent. Okay, stunning. Right, and then this is where I get stuck. Oh, what? Wait, what? Greta, oh, these are her 2 guilty neighbors. Oh my god, I'm a fool. Oh my gosh. Guys. Guys. That is so embarrassing. Okay, 5. Has to be one. Oh my god, I can't believe that. Okay. Then, no. So it can't be... Okay. I'm so upset with myself. Okay. And then there's the 4 for rows 4 and 5. He has 2 guilty neighbors, 2 people to the left of Zayden, and... I'm so dumb. Okay. Okay. Redemption. Hold on. Redemption. I got it. There are 14 guilty people in total. Got it. There are a total of 6 guilty people in columns 1 and 3 combined. 7 guilty people in Hudson's line of sight, which is again his column and his row, not diagonally and not himself. There's 1 guilty person in column 3, so then column 1 has to be all guilty, because there's 6 in columns 1 and 3, and there's only 1 in column 3. 8 guilty people on the edge of the grid, so then we need 3 more around the edge. Winston has more innocent neighbors than guilty ones. There you are. So he already has 2, so then 3. Okay. And then 6 guilty people. Okay. Hudson. There he is. 7 guilty people. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7. Okay. I got it, guys. Okay, that's the 1 in column 3. 8 on the edge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh. Cool. Okay. Hold on. Done. Guys, I'm smart. I promise. 248 points. You see that? 76 seconds. Boom. Oh my god. Okay. There are 13 guilty people in total. we good now? Okay. Oh my gosh, what the heck? Oops, sorry. I had it turned up on my phone because I was trying to figure it out. That was so weird. Okay. Sorry, the music stopped, so I was trying to figure it out, and then I realized the mic stopped. It got, like, slightly unplugged at some point, I guess. Sorry. Okay. Anyways. Oh my god. I'm so professional. Okay. Maria shares one guilty neighbor with Xena. There. Okay, so it's either Roy or Stella. There are a total of 9 guilty people in rows 1 and rows 2. Row 1 and row 2 combined. So one of these people gets marked innocent and the rest of them are guilty. Dude, what is happening? My mic keeps getting unplugged. Oh, it's like the cord for it is hooked around my knee. Probably doesn't help. Okay. This thing is so sensitive. Oh my gosh. Okay. Anyways, back to what I was saying. There are a total of 9 guilty people in row 1 and row 2 combined. Okay, so then once one of these gets marked as innocent, then the rest of them are guilty. Of Ethan and Stella, one of them are guilty. Cool. 5 guilty people in Roy's line of sight. There are 4 guilty people in row 2, so then all 5 in row 1 get marked, which means Ethan is guilty and Stella is innocent. 4 guilty people in row 2. Okay, so we need to figure out who in row 2 is innocent. We can finish that off. There is exactly 1 guilty person above Valentino. Found her. Cool. Maria shares 1 guilty neighbor with Xena, so then it has to be Roy. Awesome. 5 guilty people in Roy's line of sight. He only sees 2 as of right now, but there are 3 unknowns, which makes 5. Not including him, again. There's exactly 1 guilty person above Valentino. Just did that. There are more innocent than guilty in column 4. So, no. What did what's up? Hold on. Sorry for the clicking. I know my mouse is probably really loud. Okay. There are a total of 9 guilty people in rows 1 and 2 combined. Out of these 10, 1 is innocent and the rest are guilty. Okay? Okay. There are 4 guilty people in row 2. Done. There are 5 guilty people in Roy's line of sight. Oh, I think I just marked off Waylon for nothing. What? Okay, more innocent than guilty in column 4, so then it can't be Teresa. So then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then Maria shares 1 guilty neighbor with Xena, which is Roy. And that brings us to 13. Yay! Okay. Ugh. Sorry, I'm readjusting. Oh my goodness. All right. Let's see. There are 13 guilty people in total. There are a total of 8 guilty people in rows 1 and 2 combined. Okay. Sorry, it took me forever to process that. Okay. So then 2 in rows 1 and 2 will be guilty. Of, Frank, Greta, Olivia. Frank, Greta, and Olivia. One of them are guilty. Okay. There are 3 guilty people in Violet's line of sight. So this column and this row. Does not include her, does not go diagonally. There are 11 guilty people on the edge of the grid, so there will only be 2 on these inner 9. There are exactly 3 guilty people to the left of Zachary. Okay, so one of these will be innocent. There are exactly 3 guilty people to the left of Zachary. I just read that one. There are more innocent than guilty in column 3. So column 3 will have usually you can assume it's going to be 2 guilty, 3 innocent. If there are more innocent than guilty. Okay. I didn't mark off a single thing. That's upsetting. Lose it. Just unplugged my mic again on accident. Okay. I need a different setup. There are a total of 8 guilty people in row 1 and row 2 combined. So then 2 of these have to be innocent. I'm going to assume that Frank and Greta are going to be one or both of the innocent people. Because then if Olivia is the guilty one, they're both innocent. If Greta is guilty, Frank and Olivia are innocent. If Frank is guilty, Greta and Olivia are innocent. 3 guilty people in Violet's line of sight. 2 of them are going to be between here. So Zachary can't be guilty. I guess he could. Could be. I just can't mark off anything. This is so unfortunate. Okay, there are 11 guilty people on the edge of the grid. So then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 for Violet's line of sight. Violet's probably the 11th one, right? Okay, let's go with that. There are exactly 3 guilty people to the left of Zachary, which does include Violet. So she could be seeing 2 or 3 people. She is seeing 2 or 3 people. So then, Zachary could still be innocent. Oh my goodness. Okay. Or could still be guilty. There are more innocent than guilty in column 3. My goodness. Okay. Okay, we're gonna start assuming things. Sorry. There are a total of 8 guilty people in rows 1 and 2 combined. So let's say these 2 are guilty, and then there's more innocent than guilty in column 3. And then there are exactly 3 guilty people to the left of Zachary, so it's these 3. And then she's seeing 2, and then another one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then one more that she is seeing. Of Frank and Greta and Olivia. Oh, Olivia is guilty, if that's true. That's correct. Okay, so then those are the 2 innocents that get us the 8 guilty people in these 2 rows combined. This one is marked off, this one is marked off, and this one is marked off. And there are 13 guilty people. Woohoo! Oh my gosh, okay. 9 guilty people total. There's a total of 1 guilty person in column 3 and 5 combined. Okay. Of Damon, Hazel, Kyle, and Thomas, exactly 2 are guilty. There are 6 guilty people in Damon's line of sight. So once 2 in his line of sight get marked off as innocent, we can go from there. There's exactly 1 guilty person between Eduardo and Yasmin. 1 guilty person to the right of Paloma. 3 more guilty in row 1 than in row 3. Okay. So there's a total of 1 person. Oh dear. Okay. So let's see. From Damon's line of sight, none of the others that are in this little group here are seen. So that doesn't help. 1 guilty person between Eduardo and Yasmin. We could just go with Thomas for now and see how that goes. So then Damon, Hazel, Kyle. Hazel, and Kyle one of them could be, or one of them is also guilty. One guilty person to the right of Paloma, which is Thomas. More guilty people in row 1 than in row 3. Okay. There's one guilty person in column 3 and 5 combined, which means it's done. Okay. Okay, so then Hazel is marked as innocent, so either Damon or Kyle are still guilty. 6 in Damon's line of sight, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which doesn't work. Okay. One guilty person in column 3 and 5. So we could go with Eduardo. And one guilty person between Eduardo and Yasmin. Oh, there isn't one though. But there's only one person guilty in column 5, so then it has to be one of these 3. Okay, but it can't be Thomas because we saw how that worked out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which means that's the one to the right of Paloma. More guilty in row 1 than in row 3. We'll work on that. Of Damon. Damon and Kyle have to be innocent, are guilty because Hazel and Thomas are marked as innocent. 6 guilty people in Damon's line of sight, yes. Exactly 1 guilty person between Eduardo and Yasmin, and more guilty people in row 1 than in row 3. So then it has to be Jeremiah. Nice. Okay. Goodness gracious. Okay. Mateo, there he is, shares 2 guilty neighbors with Xandra, so it has to be these 2. There are a total of 4 guilty people in this one. Okay. Of Felicity, Grayson, Nora, and Victoria, 3 of them are guilty. Okay. 4 guilty people in Andrea's line of sight. 4 guilty people on the edge. So then it has to be the ones in her line of sight, which means it can't be any of these, and it can't be Andrea. Ramona has 4 guilty neighbors. She already has 3 and 1 marked guilty, but she still has 4 unlocked. So she'll have 4 guilty, 4 innocent neighbors. There are 4 guilty people on the edge of the grid. I jumped ahead a little bit there, apparently. Of the 4 people in corner locations, 2 of them are guilty. Whoops. So then it's Uriel and Ember. Whoops. There are more guilty people in column 3 than in column 1. Okay. 4 guilty people in rows 2 and 4 combined. We still only have 2. Of Felicity, Grayson, Nora, and Victoria, 3 are guilty. So then it has to be Nora, Grayson, and Felicity. 4 guilty people in Andrea's line of sight. So then she needs 1 more. Ramona has 4 guilty neighbors. We still need 1 more innocent to be marked. There are 4 guilty people on the edge of the grid. We only have 3 so far. More guilty people in column 3 than in column 1. So we're going to mark those 2 off, I think. And then this one, that one maybe? Because then that gives her, no. Because then that puts the 4 in her line of sight, 4 in rows 2 and 4, 4 on the edge of the grid, and more guilty in 3 than 1 column-wise. And then Ramona has 4 guilty neighbors, so okay. Nice. Okay. Yvette shares 2 guilty neighbors with Steven. Okay. 3 guilty people in columns 1 and 2 combined. 4 guilty people in Maxine's line of sight. 1 guilty person in column 3. Okay. 1 guilty person. Why is Did I do that on accident? Whoops. 5 on the edge of the grid. So we already have 1. Exactly 1 guilty person between Aspen and Evelyn. So either Brooks or Delilah. 1 guilty person to the left of Julius. So Francisco, Gloria, or Ibrahim. Oh no. Natasha has more guilty neighbors than innocent ones. Here she is. So then she will have all 5 of these are guilty then. Okay. And that puts us at 4 on the edge, so we need 1 more. There are a total of 3 guilty people in columns 1 and 2 combined. So there's only 1 person in column 1 because one of these will will be the 5th one on the edge of the grid. 4 people in Maxine's line of sight, so it could be Kieran. 3 guilty people. 4 guilty people in Maxine's line of sight. She only sees 1 so far, so then no, she sees 2. Xavier. Exactly 1 guilty person between Aspen and Evelyn, which isn't true. Huh. Let's try this again. Yvette, there she is, shares 2 guilty neighbors with, where did he go? Where'd he go? Stephen. Okay, so it's Theodora and Xavier. Has to be. There are a total of 3 guilty people in columns 1 and 2 combined. Okay. 4 guilty people in Maxine's line of sight. 1 guilty person in column 3. Okay. Column 3, yes. 5 guilty people on the edge. Exactly 1 guilty person between Aspen and Evelyn. So then there's nobody guilty in column 1. Why am I so confused about this? Okay. 5 guilty people on the edge. 1 guilty person between Aspen and Evelyn. 1 guilty person to the left of Julius. So it's either Gloria or Ibrahim. And Natasha has more guilty neighbors than innocent ones. Okay, so then it can't be Gloria there. And then that last one has to be either Brooks or Delilah. Column a total of 3 people. There we go. 4 guilty people in Maxine's line of sight. There's the 4th one. 5 guilty people on the edge. Yes. 1 guilty person between Aspen and Evelyn. Okay. Goodness gracious. Okay. Victor shares 3 guilty neighbors with Lauren. Victor and Lauren. So then all 3 of them that touch both of them. Of Emilio, Genevieve, Owen, and Victor, 1 is guilty. 7 guilty people in Connor's line of sight, so he sees 1 already. Victor has 3 guilty neighbors, which is true, so then mark those 2. Paisley is here, has more guilty neighbors than innocent ones. Okay, so she'll have 3 guilty, 2 innocent. Of Emilio, Genevieve, Owen, and Victor, 1 is guilty. 7 guilty people in Connor's line of sight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. Okay. Paisley has more guilty neighbors than innocent ones. We can kind of assume that Victor would be one of her guilty neighbors. And then Emilio, Genevieve, and Owen are innocent. So then, nope. So Connor's 7 guilty people that he's seeing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Am I dumb? Am I okay? Okay, so then it has to be Emilio, actually. So then, okay. 7 guilty people in his line of sight. I must have counted wrong. Paisley has more guilty neighbors than innocent ones. Okay. 11. Okay. Well, that worked out. Okay. 2 guilty people in rows 3 and 4 combined. 6. What did I say? Okay. 4 guilty people in row 2, so then only 2 in row 3. Okay. Knox, there, has 1 guilty neighbor. Stunning. There are exactly 2 guilty people between Felicity and Jasmine. Lennox, which is here, has more guilty neighbors than innocent ones. Okay. There are more guilty people in column 4 than in column 3. Okay. 6 guilty people in rows 2 and 3 combined. So specifically focusing on 2 and 3, we have Knox and Lennox. Knox has 1 guilty neighbor. Lennox has 3. So then we need to make it work out so that they'll both have 1 in common, but then Lennox will have 2 over here that don't touch Knox. Or it could be Lennox and none of these are... No, because Lennox has 8 neighbors, so he should have 5 guilty neighbors. Oh goodness, okay. So then Knox is probably one of them. Because then these 3 don't touch Knox, and then one of these 4 are their shared final one. Okay. Total of 6 guilty people in rows 2 and 3 combined. So then 1, possibly 2. 4 guilty people in row 2. So then these 3, and then one of these 2. Knox has 1 guilty neighbor. There are 2 guilty people between Felicity and Jasmine, which is true. So then their shared neighbor is either Felicity, Priscilla, or Red. No, it has to be Felicity. Okay. So then 6 guilty people in rows 2 and 3 combined. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 4 guilty people in row 2. Knox has 1 guilty neighbor. Lennox has more guilty than innocent. Yes. And then there are more guilty in column 4 than in column 3. Column 3 has... Okay. Oh my goodness gracious. Okay. Let me know if you want me to, check out any of the other puzzles on this website. This is just my personal favorite that I've been absolutely obsessed with. So I wanted to show you guys, and I figured it would be kind of like an easy, ease back into streaming kind of thing. But they have a bunch of different, kinds of puzzles and stuff. So Mario shares 2 guilty neighbors with Quintana. Of Deborah, Josiah, Nathan, and Serena, 3 of them are guilty. Okay. There are 3 guilty people in Josiah's line of sight. 2 guilty people in column 2. Gwendolyn has 1 guilty neighbor, which is Louisa. So then the 2 in column 2. Okay. 3 guilty people on the edge. We have 2 out of 3 so far. Of Deborah, Josiah, Nathan, and Serena. Okay. 3 guilty people in Josiah's line of sight. There are 3 guilty people on the edge of the grid. We only have 2 so far, like I said. There's exactly 1 guilty person between Fabian and Zachary. Okay. And then that will be our final one on the edge of the grid. So whichever one of them. There are more guilty people in row 2 than in row 3. Okay. So Deborah, Josiah, Nathan, and Serena, because Deborah is innocent. 3 guilty people in Josiah's line of sight, which we still can't do because we have 5 unknowns. There are 3 guilty people on the edge of the grid, right? Has to be one of these 3. Exactly 1 guilty person between Fabian and Zachary, right? Has to be one of these 3. More guilty people in row 2 than in row 3. Oh, I just realized. Okay. And then... No, but there has to be 3 in... Oops. Is it all 3 of them? Okay. Cool. Opal shares 2 with Steven. There are 3 guilty people in row 3. We already have 1. Tegan has 7 guilty neighbors. Oh my goodness. So then 2 of them are probably here. Or one of them is innocent, maybe. She only has 1 innocent neighbor, so we'll have to find that. There's exactly 1 guilty person between Celeste and Zia. Okay, well. Found it. Thank you. And then the 3 guilty people in row 3. More guilty people in column 1 than in column 5. Okay, and that's 12. Nice. 56 seconds. That might be a personal record. Oh, 44 seconds. Interesting. Okay. Jalen shares 3 guilty neighbors with Hayes. So then all 3 of these. There are a total of 7 guilty people in rows 3 and 4 combined. Okay, so there will be 3 innocents in rows 3 and 4. Oops, sorry. Of Elena, Blair, Hayes, and Owen, 3 of them are going to be guilty. Tiffany has 7 guilty neighbors, so 1 of her neighbors will be innocent. There are exactly 2 guilty people between Caden and Jimena, which is true. There's exactly 1 guilty person below Blair. Okay. Of the 4 people in the corners, 3 of them are innocent, so 1 is guilty. Okay. So that'll probably be him. Yeah, because Tiffany's neighbors... Okay. Oh, there we go. Okay, so 3 of them are innocent. Awesome. 7 people in rows 3 and 4 combined. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. Okay. Alana is innocent, so then Blair, Hayes, and Owen have to be guilty. 7 guilty people still have that, I think. Okay. There's 1 guilty person below Blair. Done. So then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And that's 14. Awesome. Okay. Let's see. Do you guys want to see like the other games on this website? I can... Well, they have different websites, but they have like a bunch of different stuff. So they have Conspiracy Puzzles, which is what we've been playing. Crate Escape, which actually I don't think I've tried, but pretty much everything else I have. Star Battles, which is actually pretty fun. Vector Puzzles, which is difficult but fun. Puzzle Bearing Games, I haven't checked that out. Circuits, Campsites, Philomeno, which is actually pretty fun, kind of easy. We could check that out. Laser Grids, which is, I think I tried that one. I don't remember. Kalkudoku, I didn't even try because I'm not good at math. The trivia challenge, I didn't know like any of the questions. So, reverse word searches are actually, it's pretty fun. It's just like really difficult because like you can see the picture. They give you like a few letters or like the beginning letters of a word or like in the middle or the end or whatever. They'll give you like, 1 to 2 or 3 letters in a word. And then you have to like go from the word list and fill in where each word is, like horizontally, vertically, diagonally. Like it's a mind game for sure. Like it's a lot of work. Number grids was pretty fun. Jigsaw puzzles, which it looks like you can make them, like use your own picture or something. Let's see, word searches, acrostics, which I'm really not good at crosswords, guys. I don't know why. Patchwords I was really bad at. Logic puzzles, I love these logic grids. Drop quotes was really difficult. Clueless crosswords was, it's a crossword. Sudoku is fun. Cryptograms is very fun, kind of really difficult. And then their hangman and their word twist are actually pretty fun too. But yeah, so let's do something else for a minute. Let's do some Filomenos because I actually really liked those. There we go. Yeah, so let's start with an extra small so I can kind of like show you how it works and everything. The record time completion of this one was 12 seconds. I doubt a human did that then. Okay, so you get all of these kind of little numbers and such, and then you use the arrow keys to move around, or you can click, but I like using the arrow keys because it's quicker. But then, so a Filomeno is a puzzle that is, you know, you make unique shapes by filling the boxes with numbers, right? And the number in the boxes is how many squares there are, if that makes sense. So then like this. I don't know if my description made sense, but hopefully me showing you does. And then 3 would be 3. Oh, right. Okay. And they can't touch. Like you have to like use touching ones for the same thing, if that makes any sense. Probably not, but that's okay. 5, 5, 5, 6. And then 4, 4, and 4. Oh my goodness. What? Do I have to have a, what? What? What do you mean? Errors. Ah, okay, so then 5, 4, 4. Okay. There we go. And we solved it in 222 seconds. That's okay. Give me 1 split second. I'm gonna be right back. I gotta check on my kid. Okay. Oh my goodness. Okay. But yeah, I hope that, you know, my explanation kind of made sense, or at least, you know, seeing me do it helped. Let's see. We could do a bigger one. Oh, here, hold on. Okay. I'm so professional, guys. Okay. Oh my God. What have I done? Okay. So then, yeah, you just kind of make like inorganic shapes with the letters. Like it can be kind of any shape, really. Okay, good start. We're doing pretty good so far. Goodness gracious, okay. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 2, 3, 4, 6, 9. And then all of these 6s are connected. Okay. And then 8s across the board. Nice. Yeah, I mean, pretty simple, but you know, pretty fun. Let's see, what else can we do? We could do a logic puzzle. Let's do a logic puzzle. Why not? Okay, we're gonna start off easy. I am obsessed with these. So, okay. So then the clues are over here. Anna finished one place after the person from Grant. So she wasn't first because she was after somebody, and she wasn't from Grant. And then Grant did not get fourth because they finished before somebody. Does that make sense? This is kind of how my brain works. So let me know if anything doesn't make sense. But like I said, you know, I love these kinds of puzzles. Let's see. Oh, I just realized my what am I trying to say here? My taskbar is in the thing. Here, give me 1 second. I mean, not that it really matters all that much, but, you know. Just that. Okay. Yeah, I just hid my taskbar for now. Okay. Okay. So, actually, oh my gosh. Okay. The person from Your Belinda finished 2 places behind the person from Jackman. So then Your Belinda did not get first or second because there was someone 2 places before them. And then Jackman did not get third or fourth because there was someone 2 places behind them. Does that make sense? I hope. Nelson was from Your Belinda. Cool. And then, so he didn't get, okay, so he got fourth, Your Belinda. Okay. And then, yeah, so Jackman got second because Your Belinda was 2 places behind them. Cool? I hope this is making sense. The contestant from Grant finished sometime before Willie, so he wasn't from Grant either, which means only Frederick could be, because he was the only one that didn't have an X there. Contestant from Grant finished sometime before Willie, so he couldn't be first, which means Frederick from Grant was first. Okay. Oops. Which also means that Hollis came in second. Cool? Is this making sense? Anna finished 1 place after the person from Grant, so she was in second place. Willie was in third. Technically, you don't have to fill in the rest of this, but just to kind of show you. So she got second, and so did the person from Jackman, so she goes to Jackman. And then Hollis was in third, so was Willie, so Willie goes to Hollis. And then you submit. And there you go. Yeah. Pretty cool. Pretty easy. Let's do a 4x4 so I can show you guys what that looks like. Whoa. Okay. The anglerfish was discovered in the Willis Trench. Okay. Done. The specimen found in 2006 was found 1,500 feet lower down than the animal discovered in the Tethys Trough. So then Tethys Trough was not in 2006. Okay. The specimen found at 19,000 feet wasn't found in 1993. The creature found in 1984 was discovered in the Velma Deep. Of the viperfish and the creature discovered in the Velma Deep, which means the viperfish was not found in the Fallon Deep. Sorry, not Velma. Fallon Deep. One was found at 1,600 feet, and the other was found at 1,800. So the viperfish could not have been found at 15,000 or 19,500. Ouch. I think I said 1,800. I meant 18,000. I know how to read, guys, and speak. I know English. Okay. So then Fallon Deep was either 16.5 or 18 as well. Okay. The viper fish was found 15,000 lower than the specimen found in 1984. So then is 18,000 minus... Hold on. I'm going to do some math. Yes, okay. So all of these numbers are 15,000 away from each other. Okay. So the viperfish was found 15,000 lower than the specimen found in 1984, which means the viperfish wasn't found in 1984, which also means it wasn't found in the Velma Deep. So it was in the Tethys Trough, which also wasn't found in 2006. Following along? Is this making sense? Okay, and then that doesn't really help much more than that. The animal found in 2006 was the bristlemouth, which means it wasn't in the Tethys Trough. Right. Couldn't be the Velma Deep either. So then this one was found in the Fallon Deep, this one was in Velma Deep. Okay, and then the animal found at 19,500 feet are 3 different animals. Oh, I need to read. Okay, so the animal found in 2006 and the animal found at 19,000 feet in the bristlemouth are 3 different animals. Okay, my bad. Need to read better. Okay, the specimen found in 2006 was found 1,500 feet lower down than the animal discovered in the Tethys Trough. So, okay, so the Tethys Trough was not the highest depth because something was found beneath it. The Fallon Deep was either 16. Viperfish was, oh my gosh. Okay, and then, oh wait, okay, Tethys Trough. Okay. Dang, this is tough. Okay, hold on. So then, does it have the answers? Auto-populate with the relationships you've created on the... I can take notes? Oh my god, stop. There's a story? Stop it. Okay, wait. Oh my gosh. Let me go check on my dog, because he just, like, yelped like something hurt him. Okay. Give me just 1 second. Let me... Yeah, sorry, 1 sec. Hello, sorry. I'm back. Okay, so the story, right? Louis Perrini has been studying the deepest parts of the world's oceans for decades and has personally discovered a number of previously unknown deep sea creatures. Using only the clues below, match each animal he discovered to the depth, location, and year in which it was found. However, as with all grid-based logic puzzles, no option in any category will ever be used more than once. If you get stuck or run into any problems, try the clear errors buttons to remove any mistakes or the hint. Okay. Clear errors? Yay! Okay. So, let me just copy and paste these so that I can think through it. Okay. So then, let's see. The specimen found in 2006 was found 1,500 feet lower than the animal discovered in the Tethys Trough. Okay, so animal, no, okay, so 2006 can't be, 15,000 because it was the lowest, or because there was, yeah, because there was something above it, right? 2 feet. Yeah. Okay. Here, let me. We'll just write it out like this. This is how I usually write it out, like on paper, so we'll just do that. Okay, and the animal who discovered. Okay, and then Tethys equals no 19.5K. But that's already mentioned. Okay. Okay, of the viperfish. I guess I'll just type it out. Viperfish. I usually write like in my notebook in shorthand when I'm figuring these out, so. No, Fallon deep. No 15K. No 19.5. Okay. Fallon deep equals no 15K. No 19.5K. Okay, so then we can get rid of that hint too. Viperfish was found 15,000 feet lower than the specimen found in 1984. So no 1984 for the viperfish. Animal found in 2006, the bristlemouth. No. Oh. No Tethys. No bristle. No 19.5K. Okay. So then I'll write in the clues that I've already marked off to the copy. I'm sure this is enthralling content. We won't do another one after this. The anglerfish was discovered. Anglerfish equals Willis French. Specimen found it. Equals no 19.5K. Creature found in 1984 Velma Deep. Okay, so then let's rearrange these. So with the years, okay, and then the trenches, okay, so then Teddy's cannot be at 19.5. Fallon Deep was not either of those. The Viper Fish was not found in the Fallon Deep. Not 15K, not that, not 1984. Anglerfish is found in the Willis Trench, 1993. Okay. 1993 was not 19K, 25. 1984 was the Velma Deep. And then 2006 we have the most info on. So 2006 was not 2006. But we can't do anything over here just yet because we don't know that. Oh wait, yes we can. No 15K. No 19.5K. And no Teddy's. Okay. And then specimen found in 2006 was found 1,500 feet lower down than the animal discovered in Teddy's trough. Actually, okay, wait. So then, hold on. Which ones do equal something? Anglerfish and Willis Trench. Okay, so then anything that's marked off for the anglerfish, literally nothing. Cool. And then this one, anything marked off for 1984, nothing there. And then no viperfish. So that's in the Velma Deep. So the viperfish or the Velma Deep can't be. Okay, so 1984, the Velma Deep. Anything specific? No. Okay, so then it can't be the viperfish. Viperfish. Because the viperfish was found in the Teddy's trough. Which we already have. Fine. Okay, so then we'll try something else. Okay, specimen found in 2006 was found below Teddy's trough. Bigger. Okay, so 2006 was found below Teddy's trough. Okay. And then the viperfish and the Fallon Deep were in the middle ones. Viperfish and the Fallon Deep. Okay. Give me just 1 second. I'm so sorry. I gotta step away again. So sorry. Nice. Okay, so then back to the clues. The viperfish was found lower than 1984. So then maybe 1984. Maybe 1984. And then no, that can't be true because then okay, so the 2006 can't be here because then it has to be the 19.5K at the very bottom, obviously. So then change all of these. Okay, so then let's see. The 2006 was lower than Tethys. So let's make another little guy right here. Tethys above 2006. And then viperfish lower than 84. So 1984 above viperfish. Let's just do it like this. That's how my brain works for some reason. Okay, so then these are different things. And then this is 15K, 16.5K, 18K, and 19K. Based off of depth, kind of piece things together. Okay. So then the Fallon Deep and the viperfish in 2006. No viperfish. No 2006. No Fallon Deep. Okay. 16K. The 16.5 is either the viperfish or the Fallon Deep. And viperfish or Fallon Deep. 18.5K is not no Tethys, no Fallon Deep, no viperfish, no 1993, and no 2006. Here so I don't get confused, because I will. These are all different things. Okay. so then if I've written it down here, I'm going to delete it. So 15K viper fish. 16, or no, 2006, no Fallon Deep. Okay, 16K is either the 19K is no Teddies, no Fallon Deep, no Viper Fish, no 1993, and no 2016. Okay. Sorry, something in my throat, dude. Okay, so then can't make any assumptions there. Teddy's no Fallon Deep. Fish. Okay, so then if we make a little section here. That go in between here. Okay, so then let's go with 1984 equals 1989 equals 1993 equals and 2006. Gosh, I'm sitting up so tall. Use all of my freaking brain power for this. On chords and stuff. Oh my gosh. So then, so no viper fish. No. Okay, actually, why am I? Ooh, okay, hold on. I'm losing it as we speak. Okay, so then the 15K is. Oh, I'm just gonna separate all of these a lot more. Okay, this is gonna be huge. Okay, so the 15K is either the anglerfish, bristlemouth, or okay, hold on. This is the worst way to do this, but that's okay. Anglerfish, bristlemouth, or the lanternfish, which we literally haven't heard of until right this second. And this one is fish, or these are just options. So this is not, I'm not finalizing it right now, but I'm just trying to get my head to wrap around what the heck is going on. And then 19K, no Teddies, no Fallon Deeps. So either Velma Drop or Willis Trench. Can't be the viper fish, so it's either the angler fish. I don't know why I'm doing this full list and not the one for 15K, but that's okay. I'll go back. Lanternfish. And then it either has to be in 1984 or 1989. And then for 15K, it's not Fallon Deep, so it could be Teddies, Prof. It could be Velma Deep, or Willis French. Okay, so let me get rid of this section. This will help more seeing what they could be rather than what they're not. I don't know. Okay. The anglerfish is in Willis Trench. And then Velma Deep is 1984. Okay, so wait. So then if it's the viperfish, no Fallon, no 84. No viperfish, viperfish. Maybe I shouldn't have gotten rid of that last chunk. Okay. No viperfish. No Fallon. No 1984. Okay. So I have that put in there. Okay, and then anglerfish equals. Oh, I need to. I meant to do this earlier. Okay, anglerfish equals, and then let's fix the formatting here because my brain needs to, apparently. Sorry, I know this is probably just enthralling content. Probably so interesting to watch. I didn't think it was going to take this much work. Okay. Then anglerfish equals Willis Trench. No, 1984. And then Willis Trench equals anglerfish. No, 1984. Willis Trench equals anglerfish. I cannot spell that word apparently. No, 1984. Anglerfish equals Willis Trench. No, 1984. Okay, so then let me reorganize these actually. So that way they're kind of like formatted the same, where it's like fish, and then the trenches or whatever, and then the years. Okay. And then, so I have that one. And then 1984 equals Velma Deep. Equals 1984. Drop. Velma Drop. Velma Deep. Equals 1984. 1984 equals Velma Deep. Okay. Yeah. See, now I'm seeing like, these are issues here. Okay, then 2006 equals, no, 2006. And the bristlemouth, right. Oh, the bristlemouth can't be in 1925. Okay, so then the 15K has to be the bristlemouth. See, this strategy works. It just takes a while to set it up. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Okay. Bristlemouth equals no of these, which is true. Actually, I don't think it does, like, just automatically. No, but it means no 2006. So the bristlemouth was not found in 2006. Cool. And then, so, okay. So 15,000 feet is the bristlемouth. So we'll get rid of the other fish options. Okay, and then for this one, it could be the anglerfish or the lanternfish as well. Anglerfish equals Willis Trench. No, 1984. Anglerfish equals Willis Trench. No, 1984. This makes sense to me. I'm so sorry if it doesn't make sense to you guys. Okay, and then the lanternfish. This is just how my brain has to work. I'm so sorry. Okay, lanternfish. And then be Velma Deep or the Willis Trench as well. It could be Tethys too. No, okay. I need to go off of like what I have on here. Okay, 1984 equals the Velma's Deep. Velma Deep, got it. Okay, the viperfish is in Tethys. Okay, Tethys. Okay. Making progress. Okay. Well, Tethys. Tethys? I don't. Oh, yeah. Okay. So then. Okay, I think I've marked that off already. No 2006, no 2006. Okay, yeah. So we'll just move on from that. And then, okay, so Tethys, I guess, was... Tethys is... No 2006. No 1984. Oh. Haha. Okay. Equals viperfish. No 2006. Okay, wait. So if the Tethys is where the viperfish is, then it can't be where the bristlemouth is. Okay. And Tethys can't be the first one. Yeah. Okay. So then Tethys would have to be either 16.5K or 18K. Okay. Allen Deep equals maybe 2006, right? Viper fish. Oh my gosh. Okay. Viper fish is no 1984. No 1984. Viper fish. No 1984. No 2006. Cool. Then it has to be 16K or 15 or 18K. I shouldn't have to put that everywhere because we already know that the Velma is in 1984. Oh gosh, what? so this can't be... It can't be either of these. What do you mean? But... So it would have to be Fallon Deep, but then the Fallon Deep was either at 16.5 or the 1800. So I must have done something wrong. There's really no errors? Really? Because this makes no sense. Oh my gosh, no, it can't be in 2006. So it's definitely the Velma Deep. Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay. So this one wasn't... Okay. So that's solved. Okay, cool. 1984. And the Velma Deep. Okay, so then Fallon Deep is the lanternfish. Okay. Let me see. Okay, stop. Okay. So, lantern... No, I don't need to. Lanternfish equals Fallon Deep. 16.5k or 18k. Equals Fallon Deep 16.5k or 18k. Equals Fallon Deep 16.5k or 18k. Okay. We're making progress. So sorry. Okay, the Willis Trench is the only one here that can be... Okay, stop. Okay, so it has to be the Willis Trench. Possibly 1989? Okay. Willis Trench. Anglerfish was in the Willis Trench, right? Willis Trench. So then let's test this. Oh, we did it. Okay. Then that's the 19.5. Okay. Okay. So then Teddy's was above the 2006. Oh, wait. I see something. There. And there? Errors? Oh, thank God. Okay. So the Viperfish was in 1993. And in Teddy's. What? Oh, I'm just dumb. Okay. So 1993 and Teddy's. Okay. No. 1983. Okay. All right. And then, yeah, 1989. Yeah? Okay, awesome. So then, let's see. Teddy's was above the 2006. So then, this one, the Viperfish, was there and there. And then, Fallon Deep was in 2006. Okay, this one, 19. There. And there. Oh my good lord. Okay, we finally... Okay. So it was 1993 and then 2006. Good golly. Okay, we are not doing any more of those today. I did not mean to spend, what, like 30 minutes or something stupid on one puzzle? That's ridiculous. Let's do some star battles. Okay, I'm gonna leave it open because I might want to revisit it on my own, but... Actually... We'll just close it. It's fine. Okay, we're gonna try some star puzzles. Let's see if we can do it. Okay, this one doesn't have any clues or hints or anything. So we have to find one star per color block. It can be anywhere within the color, but it has to be in that, there can only be one star in each color. And then there can only be one star in each column and one in each row. So that's fun. So let's start with, oh gosh, I don't even know. One of these little ones though. Because then if we put it into one of these two in the purple, then it wouldn't knock out all of these yellows, which would knock out the pink. So it has to be one of these two in the purple, so then it would have to be that one. So we mark out the whole column and the whole row and diagonally, because they can't be adjacent at all. Okay, and then the yellow could be any of these three. So come back to that maybe. I don't know. My goodness. Okay. If I mark this one, it knocks out all of this and all of that. If I mark this one and that one, because then they're not touching, knocks out this column and that column and this row and that row. So then we still have the reds. So then we can't have any blues there. And the blue would be there, which would knock out all of those. Okay. 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 Progress. All right. So then one of these three, or one of these two greens, it would knock out this whole column either way. Okay. And then, so, okay. There's no check your errors or anything, so. We might just have to guess, guys. If I put the orange here, it would knock out these two. The green there, maybe? No, because those two are touching. So then it can't be those three. And if I put that there, no, those two would touch. Those two would be in the same column. So then either I did something wrong, which is possible, or something else is going on. Okay, if I put the red here, it knocks out this column, which means the green and blues wouldn't be adjacent. Oh my gosh, I did it. Okay. Okay, let's try another one. It's pretty fun. Okay, so the pinks. Let's see, it would knock out all of this and all of that. This one would knock out this and that. I have no clue. And I guess we can just guess, but like, okay, wait. So if I put the pink here, it would knock out all of this stuff and that stuff. Which means the green couldn't go there. Couldn't. Okay. I don't know if I'm making progress or just messing everything up, but we will find out, I guess. Those are already okay. Then, the purple I feel would have to go here, otherwise it would knock out the thing. I didn't mean to do that actually. So I'm just okay. Oh, but then well, no, that'll be fine, I think. So then, if I put the yellow there. Oh, nice. So cool, guys. We're gonna do one more and then we'll go back to conspiracy puzzles for a little bit. Okay, so if I mark out all of this, mark out all of that, which could be, I mean, neither of these would really be all that problematic. Either way, it's gonna mark out this column and the rough area around there. So then get green and yellow and kind of decide what would be the least problematic. Okay, so then if I put the yellow there and green, okay, stop. Okay. The pink will go there. Orange in one of these two spots, which will knock out this column either way. Purple can only go there. The blue can only go there, which means the orange goes there. And then red and blue. Nice. Okay. Not bad, not bad. Now let's go back to some conspiracy puzzles. Okay. 10 guilty people total. There's a total of 1 guilty person. Mike again. Okay. There's a total of 1 guilty person in columns 3 and 4 combined. Of Olive there and Serena, one of them are guilty. There's 1 guilty person in row 1. So that could be our whatever. You get it. Uriel has 2 guilty neighbors, so it could be Olive and someone else, or it could be just 2 other people. There are exactly 2 guilty people to the right of Kiana. 3 guilty people. I don't know if I said that. I think I said 2. Of the 4 people in corner locations, 1 of them is guilty. There are more innocent people than guilty in column 2. Okay. So let's take a wild guess. Say that Olive is the guilty one out of the 2. And then he has 2 other guilty neighbors. Let's say it's this guy in the corner. Because then the other 3 are innocent. I'm just kind of guessing, honestly. 1 guilty person, in columns 3 and 4, so that actually works really well, actually. I mean, it could be Pearl, but we'll find out. 1 guilty person in row 1, so it's them. Exactly 3 guilty people to the right of Kiana, so then it would be Ronan and Uriel. More innocent than guilty in column 2. So there we go. And then 1, 2. Okay, so no. Something got messed up. Okay. So it could be Serena. Let's just play like it's Serena. Just cause. So she would be our only guilty one in columns 3 and 4. 1 guilty in row 1. You would have 2 guilty neighbors, Pearl and Zachary. 3 guilty people to the right of Kiana. I think that's where I messed up, actually. 4, and then more innocent than guilty. Okay, so 6. 9. Okay. Cool. Okay. Then, of Hattie... Oh, wait. There are a total of 6 guilty people in rows 3 and 4. Noted. Okay, of Hattie, Mavis, Raphael, and Xandra, 3 are guilty. There's 1 guilty person in Nora's line of sight. Okay, and again, line of sight is column and row that they are in, does not include them, and it does not extend diagonally in any direction. There's 1 guilty person in row 5. Okay, so 7 on the edge of the grid. Exactly 1 guilty person between Eli and Zane. There are exactly 2 guilty people below Eli, so Zane has to be one of them, because there's only 1 between them. Of the 4 people in corner locations, 2 of them are guilty, so Zane and someone else. There are more guilty people than in column 1 than column 2. Okay. 6 guilty people. Oh, there's 1 in row 5, so we can mark that off already. 6 guilty people in rows 3 and 4 combined of Patty, Mavis, Raphael, and Xandra. 3 are guilty. Cool. There is 1 guilty person in Nora's line of sight, which is true. So go ahead and do that. There are 7 around the edge of the grid. There's only 1 so far. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. There's exactly 1 guilty person between Eli and Zane, either Uriel or Jocelyn. 2 guilty people below Eli. Of the corner, 4 people in the corner locations. 2 of them are guilty. So either Eli or Annika are guilty. More guilty people in column 1 than in column 2, so probably these 3. So then Eli is innocent. So we can mark that off. Sorry. Okay. There are a total of 6 guilty people in rows 3 and 4 combined. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Perfect. And then 7 on the edge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. 1 between Eli and Zane. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. 2 guilty people below Eli. More guilty than innocent. Okay. It's not what it said. That's okay. Okay. And then we'll just kind of keep going for another about 10 minutes, and then I think we'll get off, and then we can reconvene for my my Papa's Freezeria stream later this afternoon. I think my son needs a nap, so say about like 3 or 4 probably. I'll be going live with that. So yeah. There are 12 guilty people in total. There are a total of 9 in rows 2 and 4. So there's only one innocent person in row 2 or 4. 1 guilty person in Margaret's line of sight. So one of these 2 is probably innocent. Because then, yeah, okay. 1 guilty person in Margaret's line of sight. 2 guilty people in column 2. So then it would be Margaret and whoever she's seeing. Exactly 2 guilty people between Adriana and Elliot, so Donovan and Celeste. There are exactly 3 guilty people to the right of Quinn. Okay. 9 people between rows 2 and 4. 1 guilty person in Margaret's line of sight. 2 guilty people column 2. There are exactly 3 guilty people to the right of Quinn. Okay. Used the kind of like not easy ones, but you know. So let's assume it's Roy and Graham is innocent. No. So there are 3 guilty people to the right of Quinn, so the Graham has to be innocent. Okay. Or Graham has to be the guilty one. Okay, 3 guilty people to the right of Quinn. Cool. 2 guilty people in column 2, got that. 1 guilty person in her line of sight, yes. And 9 in total between those 2 rows. Cool. Okay. Daniela here shares 2 guilty neighbors with Cade. So Emmanuel and Joanna. There are 2 guilty people in rows 3 and 5 combined. 2 guilty people in row 3, so there's none in row 5. 8 are on the edge. 1 guilty person to the left of Francis. Cool. Zoe has more guilty neighbors than innocent ones. So then Uriel and Tatum are. 2 guilty people in rows 3 and 5 combined. 2 row 3. 8 around the edge. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. And that's our 2 in row 3. 2 guilty people. Yep. And then 10 in total. Okay, cool. 66 seconds. Oh my gosh. Zoe shares 1 guilty neighbor with Madeline. It's Troy. Of Evan, Ivana, and Yasmin, exactly 2 are guilty. There are 5 guilty people in Cole's line of sight. I got a text. There's one guilty person in row 2. One guilty person between Piper and Uriel. 3 guilty people below Blair. Gosh, why does it keep doing that? Of the 4 people in the corner locations, 1 of them is guilty. Okay, 1 guilty person in row 2. Cool. Of Evan, Ivana, and Yasmin, 2 are guilty. Stop. Okay, 5 in Cole's line of sight. 1, 2, 3. Okay, no. 4 people, 1 of them is guilty. Stop. Okay, so then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in his line of sight, and we need 1 more. From where? Probably Cole, honestly. Okay, hold on. Zoe shares 1 guilty neighbor with Madeline. So it's Troy. Of Evan, Ivana, and Yasmin, 2 are guilty. Okay. 5 guilty people in Cole's line of sight. 1, 2, 3, 4. What? Was one of these not? What? Wait. 1 guilty person in row 2. 1 guilty person between Piper and Uriel. Okay. Okay. Just misclicked, I guess. This mouse is really not liking me. Of Abigail, Diego, Ian, and Yancey. 3 of them are guilty. There are a total of 3 guilty people in columns 2 and 3 combined. 4 guilty people in Luciano's line of sight. 3 guilty people in column 3, so there's none in column 2. Okay. Ellis. Here. He has 2 guilty neighbors. Okay. There are 8 guilty people on the edge of the grid. There are exactly 2 guilty people to the left of Zaire. Melissa has more guilty neighbors than innocent ones, so these 5 are guilty. More guilty people than innocent. More innocent than guilty in column 1. 3 guilty people in columns 2 and 3. 3 guilty people in column 3. Okay, so let's see. Of Abigail, Diego, Ian, and Yancey, 3 of them are guilty. Ian is one of those. 4 guilty people in Luciano's line of sight. 3, 4. Okay, 3 guilty people in column 3. That one is done. Ellis has 2 guilty neighbors, so that's 1. 8 on the edge of the grid, 1, 2. There are exactly 2 guilty people to the left of Zaire. And more innocent than guilty in column 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh. What? Diego? Okay, hold on. Total of 3 in columns 2 and 3. Abigail, Diego, Ian, and Yancey. 3 are guilty. 4 in Luciano's line of sight. 3 in column 3. Ellis has 2 guilty neighbors. Okay. 8 guilty people on the edge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. Oh. I just counted wrong. 2 guilty people to the left of Zaire. Melissa has more guilty than innocent neighbors. 1. Oh my gosh. Okay. So it doesn't. Okay. I guess I was just supposed to guess there. I don't know. Okay. Willa shares 2 guilty neighbors with Malcolm. So 2 of these 3. 2 guilty people in rows 2 and 3 combined. 6 guilty people. It's 2 rows. 3 guilty people in Xander's line of sight. 3 guilty people on the edge of the grid. Okay, so then only only the ones in Xander's line of sight. The ones on the edge. There's one guilty person below Bethany. Okay. Of the corner location, 3 of them are innocent. There are more innocent than guilty in column 5. Willa shares 2 guilty neighbors with Malcolm. There's only 1 below Bethany. There are a total of 6 guilty people in rows 2 and 3 combined, so these remaining 6. 3 in Xander's line of sight, there's only 2 so far. 3 guilty people on the edge, only 2 so far. 4 people in corner locations, 3 of them are innocent. More innocent than guilty in column 5. There we go. Alright, we will do 1 more, and then we'll end the stream. Zane shares 2 guilty neighbors with Philip. 1 guilty person in columns 3 and 4 combined. 4 guilty people in Omar's line of sight. 3, 4. 1 guilty person in column 2. Okay, ended off on an easy one. Tiana has more innocent neighbors than guilty ones. There we go. Okay. Let's do 1 more. And then we'll end the stream. Otto and Persephone share 4 guilty neighbors. There are a total of 5 guilty people in row 1 and row 2 combined. 1 guilty person in William's line of sight. 4 guilty people in column 5. 7 on the edge of the grid, and Dante has more innocent neighbors than guilty ones. Okay. Total of 5 guilty people in rows 1 and 2 combined. So, 1 guilty person in William's line of sight. 4 guilty people in column 5. 7 on the edge of the grid. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 in rows 1 and 2. 7 guilty people on the edge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 9, 10. Oh, what? Okay. There we go. Alrighty, guys. I'm gonna... Oh my gosh. Has it been showing my... Are you serious? Oh my gosh. I'm actually so upset. I'm so sorry. It's been showing my please hold screen this entire time. Dude. At least I've been talking through it, but oh my gosh, that's so upsetting. Ugh. Okay, well, I guess we're gonna end the stream on that note. Okay, in my defense, I don't think I've streamed in like almost 3 months. Okay, so we'll just chalk it up to being that. Okay. I'm really upset. But that's okay. Okay, well, thanks for watching when you could. And oh my gosh. Another reminder that I will be going live again later today with Papa's Freezeria for probably an hour or 2. We'll see. But yeah. Okay. I'm so mad at myself. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well. Okay. I'll see you next time. Bye.